Hi everyone, hope you've been keeping well. Okay, it's going to be one of those kind of videos. Recently had a new baby. Well, my wife has given birth to the baby. I was there. I put in my shift right at the very beginning. But anyway, yeah, lots of sleepless nights, lots of incoherent thoughts. Not much time for hobbying, not much time to produce YouTube content, unfortunately. But I have a small video for you today on Lucius the Faultless Blade, and this is an unboxing. Now, this miniature isn't released just yet. It was available via a pre-release last weekend at the time of recording, so it's the 29th of July. So it was last weekend, a HORUS Heresy gaming event held at Warhammer World. The miniature was available in a limited batch. It was £33 and it comprises part of the character series. So we've come to expect a lot from the character series. This, for a lot of people, including myself, has been the banner bearer. It is what is possible in miniature sculpting. And we have had, how to be polite about this, a few dips in form with this series. However, the past, I don't know, since it got re-released, past like 6 months, I don't think there's been anything but hits. And Lucius, for me, is a very, very solid sculpt, but it's not without criticism. It's not perfect. So let's have a look at it, shall we? Okay, so we have the box. It's your usual fare from the new box set. We have the new logo sitting up here, Lucius the Faultless Blade, and it does come with an alternate helmet. Let's have a look at the back. So we can see £33, and that's it all squished together. Now, the backing material for it does include instructions on how to build Lucius. Now, it's rather straightforward in how you go about creating this. So, I mean, it's nothing too much to worry about whatsoever. Okay, then we have... so this is the body. Absolutely goddamn sublime. Very crisp details, very well rendered. And it has a lot of callbacks to the Visions of Heresy artwork. So you have the screaming face brocade. You have the chest detail with the... I'm not sure what to call that, sort of like the breathing apparatus in the front. Then all this really nice, beautiful filigree surrounding it. And a few stray hairs on my part. We have the Palatine Aquila, which is very important, which is very different from the Imperial Aquila. The Palatine Aquila, the wings are raised upwards, rather than the Imperial Aquila, which is flatter, as far as I'm aware. So there is a difference between the Palatine Aquila, which only the Emperor's children were permitted to use before the Horus Heresy, and those afterwards. So very crisp detail, as you'd come to expect from a first casting of this particular series. Now we have the blade. A commenter did say something very interesting with this, that he was a little bit disappointed not to see... Hold on, let's see whether we could bring that. That's better. Okay, let's bring this up on screen like so. A bit of rejiggering live. For you. Okay, so yeah, we have the Blade of the Lair, which is the one with the scroll work alongside, and this was the blade that caused Fulgrim to fall. Why is it that scale? It's a demon weapon. It changes to fit the hand of the holder, of the bearer, and in this case it's Lucius, so it will be fitted for Lucius's hand. But in the rules, there are pre-layer blade and post-layer blade. So it would have been nice for them to include an additional hand or something that you could replace it with, so you can have both versions of Lucius. But very minor quibble. Then we have the secondary blade. Again, it's very reminiscent of the Visions of Heresy original artwork. It has the same cross handle. It has the gloves, and it has that dual-edged blade with the central track through the middle. Okay, let's have a look at the next image. That's it from the other side. So again, you can see these gates, casting gates, that will be removed. This is in Forge World resin. It's not fine cast, so there's no unusual bubbles in there. The only drawback that I could see from the detailing is that there are slight stepping marks from where they 3D printed the master and then put it into production. There are, especially around the shoulder pads, there are a few of those issues. Okay, let's have a look at the next. The cloak. Okay, upside down, because that's how I took the photograph. But this cloak, it's not too ostentatious. It doesn't overwhelm the miniature. Again, we have this really nice filigree detail. The casting gates are in nice portions where you're able to file over the top without loss of detail. And we also have this embroidered scene right at the bottom of the cloak. Okie dokie. Then the other side, we have the embroidery on the inside of the cloak, the imperial aquillas, and this very nice sort of like French brocade that's very reminiscent of design tropes present throughout the Emperor's Children. Okay, now we have the heads. Okay. One thing when you look at the Emperor's Children is that it's very similar to the Blood Angels in how it's represented, but the use of the sharp edges to almost make it look like a skull mask does differentiate it from the Blood Angels. It has a meaner aspect to it. I really love the breathing apparatus around the side. It's reminiscent of sonic weaponry that the Third use. And then I think this is one of the best sculpted heads in the range, with these really, really subtle scars across the surface of the miniature and like a slight sneer that he has. I want to use this head on a different Praetor. I want to use this head on a few different things. For Lucius, I have heard a few commentators say that it doesn't represent the beauty of Lucius, and that why is he scarred? Well, his scarification, as far as I'm aware, it's been a while since I read the books, but it happened pre-Istvan. When he was in the dueling cage with Garviel Loken, Garviel noted the scars on Lucius, mostly self-inflicted. So this is a pre-heresy as well as heresy feature of the character. It's there, it's present in the novels, it's present in the narrative. But I think it's one of the highlights of the sculpt. This face, chef's kiss. Okay, the arms. Not really much to say about them. They do follow along similar design tropes of the Third Legion. We have the Palatine Aquila on the shoulder pad, and then another filigree detail on the other side. There is slight stepping on the underside of the pauldron, which is a little bit disappointed to see, especially given the quality of 3D printers that are available to people like me. And we are able to produce things without those stepping issues. To see it come out, especially in a master cast that then gets rolled out in production, it's a touch frustrating. But these are very minor quibbles, especially when you compare it to miniatures. I mean, I remember cutting up metal miniatures, and that was far more of a ball ache. Okay, now we have the Truges. It's really nice to see like the little indentations in the leather. And this is possible now because of the way they produce these miniatures and they're 3D sculpting. You're able to produce these very, very fine details. And I know 3D printing is one of those love it or hate it. It's a very Marmite subject. But I think if you give it to a competent sculptor, if you give it to a really good sculptor, you'll end up with results like this. You're going to end up with very, very good results. And unfortunately, I don't know who the sculptor is for this. It doesn't say on the assembly guide. Which is understandable because the internet is the thing, but it would be nice just to lavish some praise on whoever the sculptor is here, because it's worthy of respect. I just want to give the guy a pat on the back, you know. Okay, so we have two scabbards, one for the layer blade, one for his dual-edged blade, looking very, very nice. Again, crisp detail, well cast. Not a bad word to say against it. Okay, let's have a look at the next image. Okay, so here are the components. Here are the instructions for it. Very easy to put together, very straightforward, very simple. It's not a case of like the left shoulder pad connects to the right leg or anything like that. No, it's very, very straightforward to put together. If you did want to put this in sub-assemblies before painting it, I would maybe suggest leaving the head off. Other than that, you do want the backpack on, you do want the cloak on, so when you secure the shoulders, they're in the correct place. But yeah, that would be my note when it comes to the sub-assemblies. Right, okay, and here he is fully assembled. Gorgeous creature that he is. So fit together very well. No issues with it binding on in any awkward places. I didn't need to jimmy it. I didn't need to force it in any areas. I do like attaching his head. So when you do attach his head, keep it a slight crook. Otherwise, if you have it straight on, it can look a little bit boring. So by having it like that slight sneer to it, I think that works for this character. Then we have it assembled in a slightly different position. Yeah, solid sculpt. The only drawback, the only criticism I can't find, because I do like weighing these things up, you have good aspects to this, but you can always find a negative, right? You can always find that thing to and it's like criticism, and it's constructive criticism, and it might not even be criticism at all, because I'm not judging the miniature as it is. I'm judging the miniature how I would like it to be, which is always a road fraught with peril and error, because nothing will ever live up to what you have in your noggin, right? Judging the sculpt as it is, Class A sculpt, 9 out of 10, brilliant, well formed, great detailing, a lot of negative space for a painter to really get his chops into, great face, but for a character that is so dynamic, a master swordsman, somebody who plays with his opponent, somebody who is described as a dancer when dueling, why does he have such a static pose? I know this is a growing joke, I guess, in the community, like the rock, the hero rock. It's getting harder to ignore that. For such a dynamic character, why couldn't he be? Why can we do something interesting? Why can we do something unusual with this sculpt? Is it a case of like I'm sure there's a very good grounded reason for this. Why can't we have this in a slightly more dynamic pose, like the Khan pose? We've seen it done with other character series miniatures. Why can we have something like that? But looking at the miniature as it is, I can't find fault with it other than slight casting issues. The sculpt itself is solid. Real 9 out of 10 here. But yeah, why can we I mean, when you look at the Imperial Fist Praetor, for example, that has such dynamism, forward momentum, moving forward. It is the subject of so many different conversions with good reason, because of the dynamism of the sculpt. Wouldn't it have been great to get Lucius in the same kind of dynamic posing? But it's not fair to judge it against that standards. It just isn't. And that was the unboxing of Lucius, the Faultless Blade, not Eternal Blade yet, Faultless Blade. There will, of course, be a masterclass series on this. I'll paint the entire damn thing from start to finish, and I'll post it up on the Patreon courses. And I'll be taking step-by-step photos that will be made into a PDF eventually. You can sign up for $15, and you get access to everything previous, as well as all the Emperor's Children tutorials. I'll give you. You get absolutely everything that we've done so far up until this date. And stay tuned. Running on the heels of this video is the Tale of Heresy Gamers, which is just below. If you're wondering what that thing means, it's the Tale of Heresy Gamers. Have a look at the website. We'll be posting up the second article on the 1st of the month. And every 1st of the month, we'll be following our warlords and how they grow their heresy collections. Thank you so much for watching my meanderings and feedback on this. If you like this video, hell, feel free to hit that like button, share it with your friends, take it around your grandmothers and show her, look at this, grandma, Lucius the Faultless Blade, look at this video, look how great it is. Any of that stuff is really appreciated to help grow the brand. How soulless of an end to this video is that. Okay, thank you very much, guys. I'll catch you next time.